Okay, Hori lever lock time. It's a 5 lever Hori padlock, which I got this from Reddit on the Discord. It's a, he's turned this into a cutaway, which is why it has all these bolts and stuff around it. He also very kindly sent me the tension tool that he made for it, which like I've tried using one of these things, and it just bends the club screw. That's how much tension you need on this thing. Like, it is super tapered to the point where it's just not fun to pick, to be honest. It's like nothing about this is particularly enjoyable, but we'll give it a go. I've managed to pick this in the cutaway a few times, and then we'll give it a go with the cover on. This thing sucks. I can't say that enough. It just sucks. Like, you have to use so much tension to stop it like dropping everything when you move the levers. Nothing particularly fancy going on in here. It's just good tolerances and interesting use of geometry that really makes this difficult to pick. If we get it open, we'll see how that works. You can get it to a point where you've almost got everything, and then you'll either overlift the lever, well, that happens and you drop absolutely everything that you just set, which sucks. Try that again. The secret is there's one stupid high lift lever at the back, which you need to get like way higher than you think, and then once that is set, you can like go through the other levers and just kind of gently work them into place a little bit at a time and hope you don't drop anything on the way. You have to use just heaps of tension, like an uncomfortable amount of tension. Like, this is actually fairly painful because I'm resting the picking wire on my finger at the same time and trying to lever off the tensioner. And then you'll get hung up on you drop something like that, which sucks. Getting there though. If you get this wrong, the problem is it will just drop a couple of levers and then you have to start again. There's three ways you can fail this, really. You can lift the lever too high, and there are anti-pick like underneath it, so you can't just overlift the levers like you can in a cheap lever lock. Like, if you lift them too high, they will get stuck on an anti-pick. If you lift them too high, you run the risk of something dropping, which the high lift lever at the back likes to drop. There we go. Finally. That's one way you can fail it, by like overlifting, or you can not set the lever at the back, which will cause nothing else to bind. Or you can lift the lever too high and get it stuck on the anti-pick. So yeah, let's take this apart. I don't really want to because it's a bit of a pain to get it back together, but we'll at least partially take it apart. Why not? So say I didn't make this. This was made by Reddit over on LPU. I have had one of these before. It was a long time ago. And I just couldn't pick it. Like, I put hours and hours into that thing and just got nowhere with it. I think I sold that lock in the end, or gave it away in one of the charity raffles. I'm not entirely sure now, but suffice to say I don't own it anymore. And then I was selling this one, so I figured it was my only chance of actually picking it, so I grabbed it. I'm trying to do this without doing that. because once you start taking pieces off, it kind of explodes. And I want to make it as easy to put back together as possible. So we can see in here, like that's now open. This is the bolt, and then these are the levers. That's the kind of, I'll call it anti-pick, but it means if you lift this lever too high, the bolt will get stuck on there and you have to start again, basically. Yeah, let's lock that back up before we do anything else, if I can, in this position. Let's have a go. Probably should have locked it up first, but here we are. You know what, we don't even need to turn it, we'll just push that back. Right, let's try and take this cover off. This is where all the spring tension is, so a lever is going to go like that. And then we have some levers. So these are all just, you know, there's nothing that special about them, they're just standard levers. It's the geometry that makes these interesting. So this is the overlift protection. Obviously if you lift this lever too high when it's in here, it's gonna, the bolt's gonna sit on there. And the spring then biases it so the bolt's sat in there, so you just need to lift it so it can fit in there. But by virtue of this curve and the fact that this is a square, yeah, it makes it fairly awful feedback, fairly awful taper. And yeah, not much else to say on it really. Like I'm just glad I've actually managed to pick it on camera, because I really don't want to have to do it again. Take these levers out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 lever. 6 levers. And there we go. And then this is the bolt assembly. So this is the piece that interacts with these levers. So these would normally sit kind of off here somewhere, biased like this, and then we lift them until all these gates align and they can slide in. And then the bit that makes it work is this little switch. So what this assembly does is this switch sits in this cutout, and when you can slide over, it just moves this piece of metal out of the way, and then this piece interacts with this notch in the shackle and allows it to lift up, and then when it's locked, it's held in place that way. So it's yeah, it's an interesting design. It's far more convoluted than you'd expect to see in a lever padlock, but that's it. That's how it works. That's the key. And yeah, I forget the model, but it is a Hori, and I will stick the model number in the video description.